Hello, I'm Simon. Welcome back to the workshop. Now today I'm going to be making a keepsake box that will be suitable for a grandchild or grandnephew out of this piece of sapele. Let's get tinkering. Now I'm going to start by roughly marking the centre of this piece of wood. Doesn't need to be that accurate, it's just going to be a reference line for me when I draw the shape that I want this keepsake box to be, which is going to be boat shaped. So I'm going to cut it here. This is the waste. This is what I'm going to make the keepsake box out of. So this is roughly 75 millimeters wide. That's about 3 inches, and 120 millimeters long. That is about 4.5 inches. I'm going to come down about 70 millimeters and just draw a line across. These are just reference lines because I'm now going to just use that as a reference to draw a curve that looks about right for the bow of a ship. And I'll do the same on the other side. The ship's going to come down like that, and I'm just going to round off the corners slightly. I'm just giving myself a guide. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we'll probably end up shaping it to some extent on the sander. Hopefully you get an idea of the shape there. I now need to set the bed to about 15 degrees. I decide 15 is too much and settle for about 7.5 degrees. I now use the boat shape drawn on the top surface as a reference and cut around the piece, being sure to keep the blade on the left hand side at all times. So I've cut this boat shape out using the shape that I drew as a template, and you can see because I've had an angle on the blade, it's given me a boat shaped keel. So here we have the basis of our keepsake box. Now if you place the boat on its side, keeping the bed angled the way it was, then the blade should be parallel with the top. You can check that by putting the base of the boat up against the fence. So now we're going to slice off a top and a bottom of this boat like you would if you was making a bandsaw box. Now I'm just eyeballing how much to take off based on wanting to have nice proportions. For me, that's 3/8 of an inch or 9 or 10 millimeters. But it's completely arbitrary, it's really up to you. So here we've cut, let's call it the deck, a top cookie off of our boat piece. Now because I am just eyeballing all of the measurements, I'm looking at the proportions of this, and I've decided it's too deep in this direction, so I'm going to cut off about 1/2 inch just to make it a little bit shallower. I just think it'll look nicer. I think my boat now has slightly improved proportions. I'm now going to slice the base off, and I've set this to the same thickness as the deck that I previously cut. So now we have the base, the main keel and the deck. So I'm now going to slice the back off, and I've kept the distance the same as the thickness of the deck and the base. So now I'm going to keep the boat, or the side of the boat, against the fence, and I'm going to push it through the blade, but when it gets to the curve I'm going to rotate the boat so that it stays at the correct distance from the edge of the boat, and I'm going to finish in the middle. I now need to cut the board in the same way but starting at the front of the boat. And with the bit that remains I need to slice a piece off of the top. So let's just review these pieces. We've got the top, which still has the little drawing on that I made when I started cutting out, we have the bottom, this piece, which is important, and then the parts that make up the keel. So after we've sanded, what we're going to do is glue these pieces back on here like so, along with the base to make our box. And then this piece here will fit onto this piece here to create the lid. I'm now ready to sand all the parts. Now this is the point in the video where you get to participate. All you need to do is click that thumbs up button to say that you like the video. And if you do like the video, then you should probably subscribe if you haven't already. So click that subscribe button. Or why not go all out and leave a comment? You can either leave a comment now telling me what you think of this video and my other videos, and if you think this will make a nice gift for a grandson or granddaughter. Or you can wait to the end and tell me what you think of the end product. Do you think you could have done a better job? If so, let me know in the comments. Do you think I did a good job? If so, let me know in the comments. If you're getting bored of all this commentary and sanding, let me know in the comments. Now I'm going to turn it over and sand what will be the top of the boat, or the deck. When I'm hand sanding, I like to think of the person that it's going to. Just think it's quite a therapeutic thing to be doing. Now I'm not going to sand any of the sides just yet. I'm just sanding the flat surfaces. I collect the sawdust to stop it from clogging, and also I might need it later. And what I don't use will go into my collection. Don't all woodworkers have collections of sawdust, or is it just me? While sanding, my mind tends to wander onto other things as well, like, will anyone like the video? Will anyone comment? Will anyone subscribe? This, which is going to be the back, we're only going to sand the inside. The outside and all the edges and the top and the bottom we'll leave to later. The sides of the hull I sand on the oscillating spindle sander. Again, I'm only doing the insides. Well, the spindle sander made pretty short work of that, and it's nicely sanded. I'll still need to sand it by hand to get it to the finish that I want. You can see there's a little cut here where I overcut on the bandsaw. I will fill this later when we're getting to the closing stages of making this boat. So we look at the pieces we've got. This large piece is going to be the deck, and this piece is going to be glued onto it to form the lid. This is the bottom of the boat, and then these are the sides, so they will go like that, and this piece will be glued back together like that. So the whole thing is going to go like that. Now what I'm going to do is, this deck should fit in here like this. I'm just going to use that to help support the whole structure when I'm gluing it together, and then the base goes on like so. And my gluing strategy, I think, is going to be to use masking tape or painter's tape around the outside to hold the structure together, and then just some weight on the top to hold the base to the sides. I'm not too worried if this base slightly overlaps, because I'm going to sand it and that'll take that out. I'd rather it overlapped than having to sand too much off the sides, because that'll be a lot harder. But I do want to try and get it as good as I can. I thought I'd try turning this little offcut into a mast. It might not work, but I thought if I give it a go and it doesn't work, I haven't really lost anything. Now this offcut I think will make a nice cabin, and with the blade reset so that it's square with the bed, I can cut it to length. I can now drill a hole for the mast. There's some tiny little gaps, so before I sand it down on the outside, I'm just going to fill those with the sawdust that I collected earlier. Now, I couldn't really tell if there were slight gaps in the joints, or if it's just the shadow from where the wood slightly overhangs where I haven't sanded it yet. But I've added some of the sawdust that I collected earlier to those cracks, and now I'm going to apply some CA glue to that. This is just precautionary, really. I use the belt sander to sand the outside of the hull. Here I'm just knocking the corners off using one of my detailed sanding sticks. If you want to know how to make these, I'll leave a link in the description. Now the lid or deck is made of two pieces, one smaller than the other, which creates a ridge so that the lid doesn't slide off. Now it's quite important that I get the two pieces aligned properly, because if I don't, it won't feel right in the hand. So I need to have the same amount of overlap on the deck all the way around. So what I'm going to do is just using trial and error and some double-sided tape and keep repositioning the two pieces until I'm happy with how they fit. I will then draw around the smaller piece so that I know exactly where to glue it. Well, I got that right first time. So now I can glue them. I can now add the mast and cabin. Here I'm using a tack cloth to remove all of the loose sawdust just prior to oiling them up using Danish oil. Danish oil should be perfect for this project. It should bring out the richness of the wood, and it's easy to apply. So this keepsake box is now finished, and I hope you agree that it looks absolutely magnificent. There's plenty of space inside for small little things, and I'm hoping that my 3-year-old great nephew will be very happy with it. If you've enjoyed this video, then please leave a thumbs up. If you like to see videos like this, then please subscribe. If you've got any questions about this build or anything in the video, then please leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.